Without question, one of the most beautiful places in all of the United States of America would have to be the state of Missouri. And guys, Missouri has a little bit of everything for everyone. Whether you are a fan of the urban city centers or the metropolitan areas that maybe offer some of the tourist attractions. If you're a fisherman or you love to kayak or maybe you love to get lost on the trails in the Ozarks, it doesn't really matter. But we're talking coasters. So the top 13 Missouri roller coasters, that is what we are bringing to you now. This is Clay with the Pennsylvania Roller Coaster Club. And if this is your first time stopping past the channel, thanks so much for hanging out with us. And if you are a returning subscriber or viewer, thank you again for returning. Now, we are introducing a brand new series to the channel for the Pennsylvania Roller Coaster Club. And that series is entitled The Baker's Dozen. Now, this series is going to look at the top 13 of different things, whether it's manufacturers, states. This one in particular, though, is the Missouri edition. So, without any further ado, let's get this party started. Number 13, Zambezi Zinger. So, the first entry on this list takes us to Kansas City and Worlds of Fun. Now, Worlds of Fun, when they opened Zambezi Zinger just a couple years ago, they didn't know exactly what they were getting, beyond a little bit of a gimmicky lift hill and a family wooden roller coaster. Now, as it turns out, this GCI creation is pretty good. Maybe a little rougher than a new coaster should be, but still pretty darn fun. Check it out if you haven't. Number 12, none other than the boss. And that does mean we are headed back to Six Flags St. Louis. And this could be one of the most divisive coasters in the entire state. Some people, they love it and they swear by the boss. They love its intensity. They love the roughness. Others, they hate the boss. They hate its intensity and they hate the roughness. Not too many people in the middle here. It's really either a love it or hate it ride. And, I do hope that this does get some retracking work soon. But moving on to number 11, Batman the Ride. We are going to stay and hang out in Six Flags St. Louis here for just a few minutes and talk about Batman the Ride. Obviously, this ride is pretty good. If it weren't, it wouldn't have been cloned, a dozen times or so. So, Batman the Ride is what it is. It is a B&M invert. It has a very short length of track and a short ride duration, but it is intense. And the St. Louis version is no different from the original. Definitely brings the heat. Number 10, Patriot. Now, this one might be a little bit surprising, but I'm going to be 100% honest and transparent. The only reason that I gave Patriot the nod over Batman the Ride is not simply because it is a better ride. It's just a different experience. This would kind of be, in my opinion, maybe like the first B&M family invert. I know that kind of sounds silly considering that they're actually adding these two parks right now, but, Patriot, not super intense, but it's still a great ride and a unique layout, so it gets the nod. Number 9. Screamin' Eagle. Now, this ride is, it is pretty cool. I have to admit, this John C. Alec classic coaster, it definitely deserves to be spoke of more. It's a ride that is pretty darn smooth and pretty graceful. I do wish the airtime would be a little bit more pronounced, but beggars can't be choosers with classic wooden coasters. Number 8, Mamba. Now, we are headed back to Kansas City and back to Worlds of Fun for Mamba. And this is a D.H. Morgan hypercoaster and stands 205 feet tall. And, it is very similar to Steel Force at Dorney Park, Wild Thing at Valley Fair. But I will say that those two aforementioned and Mamba are still better than Steel Eel, which is the non-hyper coaster made by D.H. Morgan. So, yeah, go figure. But Mamba, number 8. Moving on to number 7, Wildfire at Silver Dollar City. This is the first entry on the list that comes to us from Silver Dollar City, but I can assure you it will not be the last of the list. Wildfire really gives you a surreal view of the Ozark Mountains, and I took this picture just about, I would say, 3 to 4 weeks ago now, of a beautiful sunset right off of the pier ledge there of Wildfire. And, you know, it is a tremendous ride. One that probably doesn't get as much credit as it deserves at this point, and that is a little bit of a bummer because for a B&M sit-down that is this old, it's obviously being well maintained because it is smooth, it's graceful, it's intense, it's awesome. Wildfire, definitely a must-ride. Tell you what, we're at the beach together. You're in a random shark attack situation. If you're a subscriber to the channel, I'm going in like David freaking Hasselhoff. I'll get you. If I find out you're not a subscriber, you know, just saying. Subscribe now. Let's jump back in. Number 6, Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast. So we head back to Six Flags St. Louis for Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast. And guys, between the two Mr. Freeze, this one and the one at Six Flags over Texas, I do favor the St. Louis version significantly. I have ridden both recently, and I think that there is a noticeable ride quality difference between the two, favoring obviously St. Louis, as I had just previously mentioned. I think that their version tracks more smoothly, and I think that the launch is actually more punchy. So, go figure. Moving on to number 5, American Thunder. Hanging out still in Six Flags St. Louis, and guys, this is the ride that I believe is the standout of that park. Six Flags St. Louis could definitely change that narrative if they do something crazy like RMC the Boss, for instance, or even just doing an overall Gravity Group full-on retrack of Boss would probably shift the tide a little bit as well. But as it stands right now, American Thunder is actually, by some pundits, thought to be towards the bottom of the barrel as far as American GCIs. I happen to lean on the polar opposite, where I think it's probably low top tier or top mid tier. But wherever you put it, it's a great ride. Number 4, Powder Keg. And we are headed back to Silver Dollar City. I promised we'd be coming back here, and it's for good reason. Powder Keg is a really unique and cool ride. You see the launch that you get right there, right at the very beginning of the ride after that switch track brings you up to that shed area. And once you feel the intensity and the 0 to 60 speed, if you will, of the that pressurized air launch from S&S, you understand why this thing's crazy. And check that out, a lift hill after the launch. What a cool ride. Number 3, Prowler. We are making one more trip to Worlds of Fun, and I probably am on record multiple times in multiple videos discussing how, to me, Worlds of Fun is often a disappointing experience, or at least it has been for the vast majority of our last several visits. But one thing I cannot deny Worlds of Fun and that park is Prowler. I mean, this really is a world-class wooden roller coaster, and can get the sense and the feeling that this truly was the precursor to Mystic Timbers at Kings Island, being low to the ground and just amazing little pops of airtime. But number 2, Outlaw Run. And we are headed back to Silver Dollar City. And Outlaw Run, guys, this is a Topper Track RMC Woody hybrid. And this is a super cool ride. You are tucked back and recessed into the woods in Branson, Missouri, in the Ozarks, up and down rolling hills. And you get an opportunity at one particular section of the ride coming up right there that you see, if you could see through the trees, for that wave turn. And no matter what time of season, if the leaves are up, if the leaves are down, it is absolutely beautiful and picturesque. Outlaw Run, world-class ride. But it's not number 1. Number 1 in Missouri can only be reserved at this point in time, in my opinion, for one ride. And that's Time Traveler. I mean, Mock Rides, when they came in 2016 and put Time Traveler in, wow, what a choice, what a call by Herschend to take that risk, to make that investment, and to be the first park in the United States to put one in. Well, fast forward 8 years, it is 2024, and we still do not have another one in the U.S. And that leads me to question the sanity of everyone in this industry that's making decisions about where to spend capital. Because, quite frankly, I cannot believe that we have not seen a second Mock Rides Extreme Spinner installed in the United States. It is by far the easiest way in 2024, heading into 2025, to get your park into the main news cycle and get literally everyone talking about you, talking about your park, talking about your investment, talking about your ride lineup, etc., etc., etc. And in this business, guys, it's all about who can make us talk about them. And Time Traveler, my God, I don't know if I'll ever stop talking about that darn thing. It is awesome. Absolutely love it. Now, guys, I do want to say thank you so much for hanging in. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Click the notification bell. That way you can be informed whenever new uploads are about to come up. Please leave a comment down in the comment section below if you agree with my rankings. How would you rank them? Let's get some engagement going. Let me know if you do agree. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, we'll see you out there. Now, as a little postscript, you guys can check out these videos here. And in particular, if you're new to the channel, start by taking a peek at some of these right here. This is the Worst to First series, where we rank coasters from worst to first at a ton of different parks.